And this time, go a step ahead and start reviewing where you went wrong. Start reviewing every question where you went wrong. Start reviewing why you went wrong there. So you need to have a constant, like, proper error log. Once you hit that plateau, that's the only way one is going to improve. And the next process is just to keep giving short quizzes, not official mocks. Like, your next step should be to work on the areas that you're weak on. Mocks are to validate your scores. Like,
Correct.
mocks are to validate yourself, not to learn. And so one of the main key points in my DI journey is that I only look at the data sufficiency questions. I only create the initial equations that I require, and I can instantly tell which one of those is correct. Like, I don't really need to find the answer. I can just say that it's correct. So that is a huge time saver for me. So to do that, you just need to keep practicing regularly. There's no shortcut for it, honestly. So you just keep practicing it, you get a hang of it, and you keep practicing it so that you don't lose the hang of it. That is the
Right.
secret to data sufficiency questions. Like, if you look at DI as a whole, these are the only type of questions where you can honestly save time and devote it to the other questions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another interview with me. My name is Dhruv, and I'm one of the strategy experts at e-GMAT. Today, I'm excited to have with me Eddie, who recently scored a 695 with a fantastic Q88, a DI83, and a V82. I'm glad that Eddie is here to share his journey and everything that helped him achieve this score of a 695. So, Eddie, welcome to this session. Thank you so much for doing this. How are you?
Hi Dhruv, thanks for the quick introduction. I am doing very good today. So I'm just gonna go about my day as usual.
All
But
right.
yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for doing this and taking the time. Your journey and your insights are going to help a lot of GMAT aspirants out there who are looking for inspiration, and your story is certainly not short of it. So Eddie, let us begin with a deep dive into your journey, right? Let us begin with Quant, the Q88. Your earlier score was a Q83. You improved by
Yeah.
5 points in the last 15 days or so, right? I want to understand what were your initial challenges with Quant.
So I come from an engineering background, so I have a relatively strong quant. But I didn't have any hands-on practice when I started for my GMAT journey. So I had only done like official GMAT material, so and a bit of GMAT Club. So at points it became kind of insufficient. Like, GMAT Club has a very huge variety of questions, but you need to go to each question individually. You don't have that time management that official GMAT resources provide you. But as we know that they're only for the initial practice, it's only enough for the initial practice. So while getting into e-GMAT, my main goal was to avail a lot of practice material, because I identified that my main inadequacy was that under time pressure, my accuracy plummets in quant. So I had identified NP and algebra for as my weak points in quant, and a few PNC questions. So I really needed a huge variety of them, and maybe a few question strategies for algebra. So in my 15 to 20 days, I had like really worked hard on them. So e-GMAT had like a lot of quizzes and condensed sectional mocks. So I didn't attempt a sectional mock every day, but the condensed sectional mocks really helped, because it was pretty similar. It was like 17, 20 questions per mock, and I could choose which area I wanted to target. So I saw a massive improvement in my accuracy. So from a 83, 84 score, I used to consistently score 86, 87, 88, 89 at points. So that was the biggest boost in my quant journey, I felt. Because
Right.
after a certain point, the only thing that you really have to do for quant is basically improve accuracy, because you will get familiar with the concepts, you will be able to solve it under like no time pressure. But when you have that point of time pressure, you really need to solve. You really need to be very accurate and very condensed in your thoughts. So
Right.
doing that on a daily basis like really helped me set my strategy. Like I could solve any question with a given set of strategies. So that was really helpful. Like I could instantly see a question, identify what I need to do, and just do it.
Yeah, yeah. So since you mentioned that, under time pressure, your accuracy would take a hit, right? And you mentioned that, when you were taking those condensed sectional marks, you were able to identify the question type, the strategy that needs to be applied, right? In e-GMAT terms and in GMAT terms, we call them process skills, right? So, how did the process skills on e-GMAT portal help you to bridge that gap between a Q83 to a Q88? Because without mastering the process skills, reducing the time is really not possible. So take us through that little journey of learning and mastering the process skills.
So I took a bit of reference from e-GMAT, but I mainly had my own process skills. So it may not be for everyone, but basically in like my earlier attempts, when I practiced a mix of questions. I did not really take a single type of question and answered maybe like 20, 30 of them at a time. So what that used to do, I used to see a lot of questions, but I couldn't really bridge the concepts for each type of questions to that particular type of question. So at e-GMAT, I mainly focused on solving a particular type of questions, like took a quiz for it every day. So that really helped me get familiar with it, and I automatically built a process for it. Like I could see the question, I could identify it, I knew exactly what I had to do, and I just did it. So I didn't really have a very rigid process that I put effort into, but solving those types of questions automatically gave me the process. Like I knew I have to maybe create a formula for this in this. I need to identify this equation. Like that automatically I understood.
Right, right. So you mentioned that you kept learning while solving a lot of questions. So
Yeah.
when you say that, I am assuming that the process was, of course, to take quizzes regularly, but also thorough review and analysis of the
Yeah.
solutions that are given there. So what
Yeah.
was your take on the solutions then?
Yeah, see, so for GMAT, what I've basically learned is you can you can achieve a 83, 84 after a certain point of learning. But to go from an 83, 84 to maybe 87, 88 or any of the sections, the only process is like keeping on solving, reviewing what you have done, and looking at the process that is actually recommended. So on e-GMAT, that was a beneficial thing. I didn't automatically develop my process, but looking at the solutions, each type of question had a very specific process. In any question, once you look at it, there would be a similar process that is used to solve. So that automatically gets ingrained it in us. Like even if you can't get a Q80, Q90, V90, DI90, but you have a very good platform to get to a Q87 or V87, DI87 once you look at the process. Like I think the only difference between medium to and hard questions is that it's a bit tricky to apply that process on the hard questions. So once you get a hang of it, you can instantly apply the process and you can instantly solve it. So each set of solutions like use the same process, use the same techniques. So one could like easily understand it. So yeah, like
Understood.
I think that was the key from my algebra improvement. So I had a very low accuracy, and I'm usually a bit on the slower side on the algebra questions as compared to the others. So that process helped me reduce my time there.
Understood. Understood. And as you mentioned, you were solving a lot of questions, you were practicing those processes, you were learning from the solutions that you were going through, right? Uh, the quality of questions also plays a huge role because at the end of the day, if the questions you're practicing these skills on, if they are
Yeah.
not at par with the official GMAT, then all your efforts are in vain, right? How did you find these questions on Scholaranium? How close were they to the official GMAT? Did you feel at home when you were taking those questions, solving those questions on the test day?
They were like pretty similar. Like the question types were pretty similar. The concepts used were pretty similar. Of course, you won't get the exact same question on the GMAT, but at least on a higher level of things for each section type, there were pretty similar concepts being used. So like, yeah, I'm pretty confident that if I keep on solving these questions, I can probably repeat that score. So even before that, I didn't really solve any official GMAT material. Maybe I took a look at GMAT Club like at one of those days between the prep for the prep, but really GMAT Club was a bit inconvenient, so I just stuck to e-GMAT to solve.
Right. Understood. Understood. And what about the test taking strategies? Because look, you may have all the knowledge, right? But
Yeah.
if you are not able to apply that knowledge and process under time pressure on that sectional mock or the final day on that section, with poor time management, things may not really go our way. What was your specific time management strategy for quant?
Huh. I'll need to think a bit on that, but my my main goal was that I like from my perspective, I had a pretty good grasp on the concepts, so I would be able to solve a lot of the questions. And my main strategy before going into the prep was that I'll just get really good at the questions. I'll improve my accuracy by a huge margin. I would get my times down. So what that really helped me with was that when going into the sectional walks or my official GMAT, I was quick with my questions, and I had a very clear view. Like I took a look at the questions using my prep questions. I could instantly identify that this is a long question, and this is not really worth spending 5 minutes on at this point of time until I'm confident in solving that. And in the official GMAT, you don't really get such questions a lot. You maybe have one or two in the whole section, so you can confidently mark any incorrect. I do not recommend doing this for everybody, but in my case, I had a good accuracy, so I could afford to do it. But on the GMAT, you only have three options, three chances to re-correct them. So I was able to like on the official GMAT, I did such with like one and a half of the questions. Like one question, I could instantly identify it's a very long question, so I just randomly marked something. And on the other questions, like while I was doing this, I saw a bit of complications in the process ahead. So I was like, I know this may be close to the answer. I'll just mark it here, and I just moved on to the next questions. So I didn't really face such questions again. So I took my time slowly. My main mistake was the accuracy bit. So I used to read the question very slowly. Like I used to say, suppose it only asks you to identify either odd or the even ones. I would, if I don't read it slowly, I would basically take all of them and I would miss the mark question completely. So to tackle such tricky aspects, I would read the question slowly. I would solve the question really quickly, and then I would reread the question again, and I would mark that. So I had completed my section with like 6 7 minutes remaining. So I got confident. Yeah. So that was because I did not spend time on my 5 minute question.
Correct.
I skipped it completely. Yeah. So I had time to go back to that question, recorrect it. I marked it correct on the other one, and on the half question that I had left with, I marked it incorrect. I thought it was correct when I came out of the exam, but it was incorrect. Yeah.
Right. Right.
So that,
Right. Right. So, Eddie, what I understand is that self-awareness is extremely
yeah,
crucial,
yeah,
right? Because the fact that you knew that certain question types for you would need some extra time, you were easily able to identify that this is the question I should try to not really spend a lot of my time on and move on, right? So I think that comes from, of course, a lot of preparation,
yeah,
right? And thorough review and analysis of your strengths and weakness,
yeah.
right? So I'm sure that's something that you've always done, which is why you are where you are currently. So kudos to you on that. Um, let's talk about data insights now. A section that the world fears. Eddie was
Yeah,
always very confident about it, right?
yeah.
What is the secret behind it? What is it that made you always feel DI I'm uncomfortable? What was it?
So like I really feel the problem with DI is that it mixes quant and verbal both. So you can't completely focus on one side of the questions like the earlier GMATs in DI. Like you're solving quant, your brain's wired in some way, and instantly you see a whole verbal MSR. It's like what is this? How do I go about it? So that is a tricky part with DI. If you take a single question, like take a hard question, you will find that it's not as hard as the verbal CRs. It's not as hard as the quant hards. But when you do it on DI under that time constraint, you will probably mark it incorrect by an accuracy issue or something. So that is the really tricky part with DI that I find. So I knew that my quant is strong, my verbal is weak, and I need to massively improve on DI. So like the first mock I took, I scored around 545, like the first official mock. And DI,
Mm,
I couldn't attempt like 7 questions.
mm,
So that was the first mock for DI. So it's a bit time sensitive. It's actually very time sensitive if you ask me.
yeah,
Um, and DI questions are such that even if you have a last, if you have 4 minutes remaining, you have the last question remaining. It's a medium difficulty. You might still fumble it. I did actually on the official GMAT with that. So DI is a part where you need to have a very good grasp of the practice under that time constraint. That is what I learned from DI. So my basic strategy going into DI prep was that I know these questions are easy. There are a few tricky concepts. Like I can target the such types of questions individually, but at a whole, DI is all about time management.
correct.
Yeah. So my main goal was that every practice, like I won't practice DI a lot, but like every practice I do has to be under those 45 minutes slabs, formatted according to the official GMAT, or else I didn't see a point in practicing GMAT for me. It might be different for
Correct.
others. Some might be very good with their time management, but for me, the biggest issue was getting used to that shift in questions really, really quickly and getting used to that time management. So, my main source of questions for DI at the beginning was my official GMAT prep, like on the MBA.com. Once I ran out of it, I did a bunch of GMAT club questions, but again, I couldn't really cope with it. Like, I couldn't really practice my time management off of there. So on e-GMAT, I used to take mocks regularly and quizzes. So I knew I was weak at MSR. I took quizzes for MSR on e-GMAT. So such like on DI, you need to be very strategic about your prep. It
Yeah.
is not that you keep on practicing the questions and you'll automatically get a hang of it. No, it probably won't happen. You need to do that. You need to do those questions under a time constraint. And the thing with DI is that if you do it individually, you take a break between questions, you'll automatically have a chance to catch a breather. Whereas
Yeah.
under the official exam, I find that it's not the case at all. Like on DI, until the last question that you attempt, you can't really take a breather,
Mm,
unlike
yeah.
the other sections. Yeah. So that is
Correct.
a really, really tricky part on DI. So if you really fear DI, maybe take a break before that section to get into the zone. But if you like, I took it right after the verbal section, so I didn't really get a break for that. It did cost me 2 questions itself. So if I
Yeah.
were to retake it again, my next strategy would like really be like practicing verbal and then right after that practicing DI to get better used to the time constraint.
Yeah.
That is for DI.
To simulate, right?
Yeah.
Exactly what can probably happen on the test day. In fact, I remember your mock score was a 715 and your DI there was an 86, 87.
It was an 86.
It was an 86, right? So yeah, coming to that. So exactly what do you think costed you a couple of points, a couple of questions on data insight on the test? Because you were scoring
Yeah.
86, 87 regularly.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a routine for you. So what do you think
Yeah.
went wrong there?
It was definitely the lack of that final mental power, that push.
Hmm.
So I remember that like the last two questions, the last question was definitely a medium difficulty one. Like I could on individual practice, I could solve it almost immediately. Like I would require 1.5 or so minutes. On the last
Yeah.
question, I had like 3.5 minutes left. I still fumbled. Like I was trying very hard to solve it, but it was like I
Mm.
was just reading the question. I wasn't comprehending the question. Like I was trying my whole best to do it, but I didn't have any juice left in me
Yeah.
at that time. And in the question before it, it was a bit tricky, but it was definitely doable. So that last running of juice on those last two questions costed me those points on DI.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
but the real it it was honestly just a bad day to be in that to have that
Yeah.
low power to read it. Yeah,
Yeah. A bad day gave you an 83. That was a standard that you set for yourself,
yeah,
right? Because come on,
yeah,
someone scoring an 86, 87 will certainly be a little dejected with an 83, but trust me, 83 is a dream DI score for many watching this interview right now. Okay, so your insights still are really, really helpful to me.
yeah.
Right.
At the beginning, 83
Yeah,
was a dream score for me too. Like
yeah,
when I gave
I'm
that
sure.
first official mock, I was like, how am I ever going to do that? Do these questions in like 45
Yeah,
minutes? Like how?
yeah,
So yeah, trust me, you can do it. You'll just need the right strategy for it.
right. I understand. Right strategy along with right resources, because one problem that
Yeah,
most GMAT aspirants face is that not enough good quality resources and good quantity of DI resources on the web,
yeah, yeah,
right? That's where I think e-GMAT uh, goes a little ahead, because we have more than 1,500 questions on the portal for data insights. You said you attempted a lot of sectional mocks for data insights. How was your experience? How did you find them?
So it was good, honestly. Like it was a standard DI questions. Mm, like yeah, the only thing is that the only thing better was that I could also take condensed sectional mocks. I could also target my specific weak areas, which
Yeah.
I won't be able to do on other sites. But yeah, the questions are very standard. Like you will find them regularly. You will find similar questions regularly on the GMAT mocks,
Hmm.
on GMAT Club. Yeah, it's just the way that the questions are collected at one place, made easily accessible for you. So yeah,
Right. So just a little thing. I'm sure that because you used e-GMAT and you know what condensed sectional mocks are, what normal sectional mocks are, because it's a part of our uh, e-GMAT universe. For people who don't know what condensed mocks are, so condensed mock, let's say for data insights, we'll have questions from TPA, GITA, and MSR. Sorry, GITA, TPA, and data sufficiency. MSR will not be a part of it. Okay, those are the condensed mocks. So Eddie, how did these condensed mocks help you, which did not have MSR specifically?
uh, they were more focused on my quant side. So uh, it was the condensed mock. My main goal was that like I know I'm coming after a long day at work. I don't really have the willpower to solve MSR questions along with DI. That was my main goal for taking condensed mocks. So
Okay,
it was like getting really familiar with those quant that I could do it anytime, anywhere. That was my main goal for condensed mocks. Um, Otherwise, MSR, I used to do quizzes for it separately.
yeah,
But yeah, my main goal was that, and for DS, like it's getting really sufficient. So one of the main key points in my DI journey is that I only look at the data sufficiency questions. I only create the initial equations that I require, and I can instantly tell which one of those is correct. Like I don't really need to find the answer. I can just say that it's correct. So that is a huge time saver for me. So to do that, you just need to keep practicing regularly.
yeah,
There's no shortcut for it, honestly. So you just keep practicing it, you get a hang of it, and you keep practicing it so that you don't lose the hang of it. That is the
right,
secret to data sufficiency questions. Like if you look at DI as a whole, these are the only type of questions where you can honestly save time and devote it to the other questions. Mhm.
Correct.
So
Correct.
condensed mocks really help, and they do give an accurate sense of where you stand. Like it would be a bit shorter on the side, but it would give you a really good stand of where at what DI scores you currently are at. Like I used to score around 86 all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah, that does give you a quick
The
judgment
confidence.
of
Yeah.
yeah,
Understood. I just gained one more insight out of what you said. You said after I would come back from work, I would not have the willpower to do
yeah,
anything out there. But because quant was something that you loved, you still did condensed mocks. That is an insight for the GMAT aspirants out there that you will not always feel motivated to go and do your preparation. There will be times when you would not have the willpower.
yeah.
That is where you find out what you like. There must be some part of the GMAT that would excite you, would get you going. Just do a bit of that, then that is enough, right? But being consistent is the key. And trust me, guys, I was working with Eddie for the last 20 days. This guy was at it every single day. I don't think there was a single day where you missed out on doing something. You were continuously sending us emails that, hey, this is what I'm doing today. And you would also share, this is what I plan to do tomorrow, right? So
Yeah.
I think these are small things that actually contribute to one's success to a high GMAT score. So kudos to you on that, Eddie. Well deserved there. Right. Eddie, let's talk about the mock. Okay, you took a mock, you scored a 715 on the e-GMAT mock. Um, the score was pretty similar across the sections. I think the only difference that has come in data insights, where because you ran out of juice, you scored a couple of points lesser. In that sense, can we say that e-GMAT mocks are pretty close to what the official GMAT is?
Yeah, so I've given a lot of mocks. Of course, the official mocks, nobody can beat them because they are official for a reason. But apart from that, I think e-GMAT is the closest I've come. Like e-GMAT and GMAT Club, honestly. So that is a pretty big plus for e-GMAT. So yeah, the official scores are the actual mocks that I give on e-GMAT are pretty close to the official GMAT. Yeah, you would find
Right.
similar adaptive difficulty, similar scoring patterns. So yeah,
Understood. Understood. And another thing that I just thought of, so whenever I meet new GMAT aspirants, the ones who are just planning to start, they always say, "Oh, how many mocks should I take? Would 10 be enough?" And I would always tell them, in GMAT, less is more. It's about the what you do after a mock. What you do between two mocks is what decides your preparation, right? And I remember telling you that, Eddie, let's take at least two mocks before the test, and you voluntarily chose to take only one and not the second one because you did not want to burn yourself out. I want
yeah.
you to clear this myth out there where people feel that the more mocks you take, the better. What is your take on this?
So honestly, what I think that every aspirant should do is do a couple of days of prep. Just go over the material once. Like if you are already familiar with the GMAT material, go over it once. So, like go to the official GMAT site, take mock one, like identify exact key points of areas that you require for improvement, and then just forget about mocks. Just keep working on those areas.
Yeah,
Like you might score, you suppose you score 450 today, you might score 550 on the next mock, and you'll be like, yeah, I'm getting good at it, I'll just keep on doing this. And the thing is that you score a 650 and maybe the next time you score a 600. So you might score, but you'll never be consistent. And that is the thing with mocks. You might score very good on a good day if those questions are suited to you, but
yeah,
you're never going to get that confidence once you miss that consistency. And if you don't have that confidence, it'll really mess up your official GMAT day. So what I would recommend is just take the official mock once, identify exactly where you lack. They would the official mock review would give you an initial direction to work on. It would give you exactly what types of questions are you good at on a particular section. You
yeah.
have that. you have the resources right next to you. Like, just even if you don't get a paid subscription, you have a lot of resources out there. Just get familiar with them, go over all the material, like keep practicing for that. Like, once you hit a certain plateau in your prep, take the mock once again. This is I'm telling this for a new aspirant, I'm not telling this
Yeah,
for any repeat. Yeah, so you have a lot of time in that. So once you hit a plateau, like, go back, go give a mock, and you'll find exactly where you stand again. And this time, go a step ahead and start reviewing where you went wrong, start reviewing every question where you went wrong, start reviewing why you went wrong there. So you need to have a constant, like, proper error log. Once you hit that plateau, that's the only way one is going to improve. And the next process is just to keep giving short quizzes, not official mocks. Like, your next step should be to work on the areas that you're weak on. Mocks are to validate your scores. Like,
correct.
mocks are to validate yourself, not to learn.
Yeah.
Like, if you're very good at something, like, go ahead, give the mocks. Get used to the time management if you feel that is where you need to go on. But I don't feel mocks are the correct way to learn. The correct way to learn is taking short quizzes for each question types, working on it, reviewing it, doing a thorough analysis, and working on the areas that you find you are weak at. Once you have done that, of course, you can get into the habit. Of course, there's going to be a time where you feel like, I can do this under an hour, but I can't do this for like 2.5 hours. So that is where you require longer practice sessions, like practice sessions of 2 hours or so, and giving mocks like once every week, once every 2 week. So that is where I think e-GMAT would help, because if if you give official mocks on a consistent basis, you're gonna run out of them. So I would
Yeah.
only recommend giving them after a particular time. Like, give other mocks in between. There are good mocks out there. You don't need to go after official mocks every time. Like, just save them for when you're gonna need them actually.
Mm.
Yeah.
Understood. Thank you so much for your insights, Eddie. The session has been really insightful because I've also been trying to get something out of whatever you've been saying. I've also put it out there loud, right, while we were discussing things. So I'm sure uh, mm, aspirants watching this video have taken a lot out of your journey already. So thank you so much for doing this. We wish you all the best. And thank you so much again for doing this.
Thank you. I had a really good time talking to you. So yeah,
Same
maybe
here.
I've provided a few insights for a few aspirants. So yeah,
Yeah, these will certainly be helpful. Thank you so much. See you around.
thank you. Have a good one.